We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Hassani. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. I'm here with the amazing, the illustrious. Yes, you've seen him before. You've heard from him. What is your name, sir?
My name is Roland Bradley.
And we are glad to have you. He's one of our Couples Academy practitioners who's killing it in these streets, impacting lives all around the world. Well, we're continuing in a conversation that we've been having since last week. I think it's a relevant topic. Everybody seems to be chiming in because there are issues that they're struggling with in their relationship that are consistent with what we're unpacking. And so this is the final piece. This is the final part. We're talking about why couples fail after an affair, the refusal to get help. Are you the one? Are you the bottleneck in your relationship? Are you the reason why you can't move forward in your relationship because you're stuck, because you think you can do it on your own, because you think you know all you need to know? We don't need no counselor. We don't need to read no book. We don't need to go to no seminar. We don't need to go to no pastor. We don't need to go to no therapist. We can do this on our own. How's it been working for you thus far? How far have you gotten doing things the way that you've always done them? Insanity is doing the same thing but expecting different results. And you're doing the same thing because you are addicted to the familiar. You are addicted to what you know. And so I'm telling you, in order to get unstuck, you got to do something you've never done before. So we're going to be diving in and kind of unpacking why you struggle. And if it's not you, it's your spouse. Why does your spouse struggle and refuse to get the help? That's our topic today. But before we go in, we have a couple of quick announcements. Last Chance Weekend is coming up November the 11th through the 13th, as well as the 9th through the 11th. It's the last two. It's always the second weekend of every month, and these are the last 2 for the year. Let's go to a quick testimonial so that you can hear from a powerful individual who experienced the Last Chance Weekend.
Hi, my name is Julian Rollison. I am from Virginia. I attended Last Chance Weekend this weekend, and it was a great experience for both me and my wife. We were provided tools that we didn't previously have to address issues that were pretty prevalent in our marriage from basically day one. There were things that we could not come to agreement on. There were things that we struggled with for a very long time. Without the proper tools, there's no way to overcome that on your own. So I definitely recommend anyone out there that is struggling and knows they're struggling but don't know how to solve the issue, this is the perfect place for you to be. For a very long time, my wife never received the proper communication that I was remorseful for my infidelity. Coming here, I was able to express that in a way that she was able to receive it and finally heal from the hurt that I caused her. So that restored hope for our relationship. It gave us both healing. It allowed us to be vulnerable. So there's anyone out there in my situation, I would definitely recommend giving this a chance. The first day was very hard. It exposed everything that you've been hiding. There's no way to fake it. There's no way to avoid anything that you've been avoiding. So if you are serious about your marriage, if you really want it to work, I would recommend you coming here and giving these guys a chance. Thank you.
I love it. I love hearing from these couples because every couple has a backstory. There's so many couples who come with purpose, who come with a plan, meaning there's a plan that God has for their life, for their marriage. And oftentimes conflict can tear that plan apart. And so they come back to get in alignment, to get restored, to get healed so that they can make an impact on this world. And they have a business that they do together that's going to be phenomenal. Okay. But it requires that they that they be in alignment with each other. And that's what the Last Chance Weekend does. It helps you to get past the pain. It helps you to reset, to establish a healthy foundation for something that's long lasting and sustainable.
Yeah, we have this thing what is called a hard reset, and it goes beyond just resetting, but a hard reset literally realigns everything about your marriage, everything about your own personality, because what it also does, it gets you to the place of recognizing your errors and your flaws for yourself. If you want a new marriage, it has to start with you, and then it begins to transform in a way that is unimaginable.
Absolutely. Good morning, Solomon from Nigeria. Good morning, Crystal Gonzalez, Cali Power Couple. I know who you are. I know who he is. Good morning to Ray, Miss Jules, Don, Matthew. They're still coming in. Faith, Anel, Shalice. Good to see you all. We're talking about this topic, why couples fail after an affair. And today we're zoning in on the refusal to get help. Now, Roland, listen, at the end of the day, it's always good when you have two partners on board, because it's almost like the pace, the speed, the rate at which you can do what you need to do as a couple is there. But when one is not interested, or when one refuses, it slows down the process, the progress. Tell me about your experiences working with couples, possibly where one was in, one was out.
Well, it makes any job difficult. It's almost like being at a construction site, and, it's supposed to be a team effort of putting things back together, correcting a problem, fixing a situation. And it makes it that much harder when one person is sitting on the sideline giving instructions. You need to do this, you need to do that. And watching the other person suffer. It's hot, it's long hours, and the other person is doing all the work while you're benefiting from watching them do all of the work. And it's a sad situation when you have couples that just are not in alignment, and it takes work to get into alignment. Let's understand that we first have to agree to be in an alignment. We have to understand that that's where we want to be. This is what we want out of our lives, out of our marriage. And when we get on that page, when we get on the same page, we look at the blueprint. This is the plan. This is the direction we're going in. It makes it that much easier to get the job done.
You ain't never lie. Man, you just dropping this knowledge and speaking this truth. Listen, guys, it's important to do. We're going to talk about why people struggle with going to counseling and getting help. But Roland, let me ask you, what is the number one reason that you hear? Or, listen, I've been in a situation in my marriage where I didn't want to get counseling. I was just like, I'm good. We could figure this out on our own. I ain't sharing my business with some other man. Right. I'm definitely not going to the church, because guess what? I'm not going to have, my relationship talked about or preached about from the pulpit. So there's an incalculable number of reasons why people refuse to get the help. Is there anyone that stands out for you that you're aware of?
Well, yeah, to your point, there's a lot. I think the number one thing is that we can figure this out on our own. Well, if you can figure it out on your own, you wouldn't be where you are. And if you want to keep getting what you have to stop doing what you've been doing. You have to do something different to get more out of what you want. And doing it yourself, that just isn't going to work. Sometimes you need expertise. You need a different eye to come in your situation, look at your situation, and give you the opportunity to show you where change is needed. Anytime you go to a new job, they always say we have a fresh set of eyes.
Yes.
And what that says, let me show you something that perhaps you have gotten comfortable with that you don't see as a problem. We get comfortable with dysfunction and it becomes the norm. And so when we have the attitude of, we can just handle this on our own. We have that saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house. But that can be a problem. That could be a serious problem, because what's going on in the house is affecting everything else outside of the house.
Very true. Very true.
I think in other areas.
Very, very true, Roland. You hit that spot on. I think one of the other challenges that people struggle with is it didn't work in the past. Like, we tried this before. We've been down this path. We went to a practitioner or a therapist or a mentor. Matter of fact, literally, I just had a session with a woman last night who shared with me that they went to a marriage mentor. Okay. A marriage mentor is someone who, you may seek advice from, but they may not necessarily have any type of credentials, but whether a marriage mentor or someone who is licensed, we've gone to them and it didn't work out. My spouse didn't like they didn't vibe with the practitioner, or they gave advice that was offensive and it didn't work. Like, for whatever reason, they're haunted by the ghosts of their past, and they assume the way that it once was is the way that it's going to be. And I think what's uniquely different about Couples Academy is that when people start this process, they say, man, I had an idea and a perception of what it was going to be, but it's so completely different. Like, your approach to things is so uniquely different. And this is why we draw the distinction between counseling and coaching, and the fact that we take a hybrid approach to what we do. Counseling looks at your past, connects your present to your past, so you're able to know why you are the way that you are, where root issues come from. You get these aha moments, these revelations about, your idiosyncrasies and the root cause. But coaching looks at where you are today and connects it to your future. That's where the strategy, implementation, and how to comes in. And I think most people get discouraged because all they do is vent, they pour out, but then when they get home, they're back to the same circumstances and dynamics, and nothing really changed. And after weeks and months and years of doing that without any true transformation, they've lost hope and have become discouraged. And so that's one of the reasons. But I want to encourage you that Couples Academy is altogether different. What are your thoughts about that?
Listen, it is said that people don't remember what you did, they remember how you made them feel. Couples Academy has a sense of love and caring that goes beyond just the fact that there's no judgment when you come to Couples Academy. We're all in it to win it. And we want to see the best for every couple, every client, every individual that comes in. And so when we have that approach, and it's genuine love and care. And a lot of times, we go to these other practitioners and counselors and coaches and mentors, and they're just checking off the boxes. This is what you should do, da, da, da. And it doesn't speak directly to the specific issues that the couple in front of them are having. We're just giving formulas and not taking out the time to listen to the couples to see exactly what they need. If you're giving somebody something that they don't need, it's not going to work. Sandy P said, changing nothing changes nothing. And that is absolutely true. Because if you don't change, nothing is going to change, period. So the Couples Academy, our approach is different because we love different. We care different. We genuinely want to see couples manifest the best versions of their marriages and of themselves.
I think one of the other challenges that we come across is trying to align couples' schedules. Usually one has availability, the other one either doesn't or chooses not to. So the issue is we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, Roland, is, oftentimes, no matter what the reason the couple comes to counseling for, once we begin to dig underneath the surface a little bit and kind of explore what's really going on, couples who struggle the most are those who have not prioritized quality time together in their relationship. Prior to I Do, all they did was spend time together. They dated. They spent hours on the phone, falling asleep on the phone, just couldn't get away from their spouse. But as soon as they say I do and they get caught up in the busyness of life, that relationship begins to separate, right? So now there's an emotional distance between the two of them. And so time is usually one of the factors. We give oftentimes people in the world the most or the best of who we are, and we give our spouse the least of who we are. We give them the leftovers at the end of the day when we're tired and exhausted and spent and don't want to connect. And you go your way, I go my way. You have your friends, I have my friends. I have my night routine, you have yours. And so we don't even sleep together. We don't talk together. Nothing happens. And no reason, no wonder why you're in the crisis that you're in. And so when it's time to reset, to do the hard reset and get things back in line, they still can't figure the time piece out. And if you don't invest time into your future, you cannot receive a return on no investment. So nothing.
Listen, time waits for no one. And we make time for what we want to make time for. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of times we don't want to change. We because it's going to make us be responsible. We have to be responsible if we change things, and we have to be responsible if we show up to do the work.
Are you there? Are you there? Are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, sorry about that. I think we just had a connection issues. We're in America. It seems like Wi-Fi, internet, cell phone coverage is really struggling in this year. I don't know what's going on, but go ahead, continue to make your point.
And I was just saying, a lot of times we make time for what we want to make time for, right? It's not important until it's important to us. And if we have our own separate agendas from day to day, then time always becomes a factor, or we use that as an excuse to not do the work that we have to do. And so when we understand what we want out of life and what we want out of our marriage, we're going to push to make sure we have the time. We go get our hair done, our hair cuts, we go get the car wash, we go do all of these things that are minor, but the things that are major, we don't want to mess with. So what happens is we major in minors, and we find ourselves just letting time waste away while our relationships are wasting away. And we cannot take for granted the fact that we have to put the work in to see the results.
Powerful, powerful point. Here's another issue. Here's another reason that people give for not wanting to go to counseling and refusing to get the help. Well, you know what? There's just no one in our local area. I couldn't find anyone. And, I hear you and I understand that, because some people really prefer to be face to face in person with an individual. And I get that. There's something that gives them safety and comfort and familiarity. We live now in a tech world, and we're still getting adjusted to doing things online. Kids are going to school online. Many of you are working virtually from home and you have meetings online. Many of you who used to go to a practitioner now are forced to do it online. It's become the way of the future. And so you have to become highly adaptable if you want to succeed and elevate in the new economy that we are currently in. And so virtual is an option. We have clients.
So, so yeah, we have clients that come in from all over, and a discovery call, 15-minute discovery call is going to be the best option. The phone still works, right? So doing a 15-minute discovery call to let us see what your issues are, to let us see where we can serve you, and this make a discovery call. We can help you. We can get what you need, and believe it or not, because we are in the tech world, and it's funny enough, the Jetsons told us we were going to be here. We thought it was funny. We thought it was cute. That's not real. It's not going to be happening. But the Jetsons told us that we were going to be in this space a long time ago. And we are here. And so we have options. We have options via Zoom, via phone. We have enough options to meet you where you are. The bottom line is we just have to make sure that we're doing the work, that we're putting the work in to get the job done, and make sure that we are serving you as best as possible. A lot of times one of the other issues is the fact that, when you have the one party that wants to get the counseling that they need and the other party does not, then we find ourselves in this situation of, well, maybe they don't want the marriage. Maybe they're not as committed to the marriage as I am. And you cannot play games by yourself, right? You want to have life dealing with someone that you want to do life with. And in order to do that, when it gets down, when it gets rough, you have to be able to lean on one another. You have to be able to trust one another, and you have to be able to depend on one another and get the help that you need when you need it. You have to be humble enough, woman enough, man enough to know when you need the help and just reach out to get it. So we have to keep in mind that everything that we do is purposeful. And we have to be, the key word, here it goes again, is being intentional. Being intentional about what it is that you want, what it is that you need will give you the best results every single time, because your intentionality is going to be the thing that drives you. That's going to be the thing that motivates you. That's going to be the thing that is going to keep you going and going. So we're going to go to a commercial break really quick, and we're going to work out these technical difficulties. And y'all know that ain't nothing but the devil. He's just mad because we're getting the work in and we're making sure that everybody gets what they need. But we're going to go to a quick commercial, and we will be right back.